In this video, we are going to see how we can create a multi-client report using BigQuery. We are going to create the tables inside Porter metrics. We are going to send them to Google BigQuery, and then we are going to connect the BigQuery tables to Looker Studio to create our dashboard. Let's go. I'm already logged in my Porter metrics account. I'm going to click on create. I'm going to choose my destination. In this case is BigQuery. Now I'm going to select the data sources. I'm going to select Meta Ads, Google Analytics 4, Google Ads, and Instagram Insights. I'm going to name this connection. It's going to be multi-client report, and I'm going to click on next. Now I will have to connect the accounts of each data source that we selected in the previous step. I'm gonna click on connect accounts. I'm gonna search for the account I want to connect. I add them, I will save it. I will do the same for Google Analytics. I click on connect accounts, select the accounts, I click on save. I do the same for Google Ads, select the account, save it, and finally I do the same for Instagram Insights. Remember, you can connect as many accounts as you want in each data source. Perfect. Now I'm gonna click on next. In this window is where we are going to do the configuration of the table that we will be sending to Google BigQuery. So in this first step of data sources, we don't have to change anything. Those are the data sources we just selected. Now I'm going to click on BigQuery. Here in BigQuery is where I'm going to choose the account where I'm going to send the table to. So I'm going to pick my account, Santiago Cardoso. I will select the project ID. Remember that the project IDs that you will see, in this case, marketing, data test project, and my first project, are the projects that I have inside my Google Cloud account. If I click here in my Google Cloud account, you can see that I have a project called my first project and another one called marketing data test project. Perfect. Now I'm going to select the dataset location. It's going to be US multi-region. I'm going to choose the dataset. All the datasets that you will see in the dropdown are the datasets that are inside the project you selected previously. In this case, inside marketing data test project, I have all of these datasets: CRM report, ecom report, marketing ads, PPC report, etc. I can create a new dataset from here, from Porter. I can give a name. Or the other option, if I don't want to create it inside Porter, it's to go inside Google BigQuery and hit on create dataset. Complete the dataset ID, add the dataset location, and then hit on create. For now, I'm going to do it inside Porter. And the dataset that I will be creating is multi-client report. And the name of this table will be general KPIs. I will give the same name to this query inside Porter. That's only because for me, it's the best way to organize your queries. So instead of multi-client report, I'm gonna name it general KPIs. The full connection will be multi-client report, but inside that connection, I can have multiple queries. And in my case, I prefer to name the queries in Porter exactly as the table that I'm going to be sending to Google BigQuery. In this case, general KPIs. Now I'm going to add the metrics to this table. Remember, metrics are essentially numbers, anything that we can count. So I'm gonna add Facebook Meta Ads impression, Meta Ads amount spent, Google Ads cost. I will add also blended ad spend. I will add Instagram profile new followers and Instagram Instagram profile total followers. I also added GA4 sessions, and I'm gonna add blended ads impressions and blended clicks. Awesome. Now I'm going to create a custom metric. I click on create metric, and in this box I'm going to type in natural language what is the formula that I want to create, and the AI will help me creating the formula. So in this case, I'm going to say divide blended ad spend by blended clicks. I'm going to click on the arrow, and now here in the box at the bottom, you can see the formula, and next to it, the table preview. I'm going to name this metric as CPC. I will hit on create, and now in my table preview, I see a column named CPC. Now I'm going to choose the dimensions of this table. In this case, I'm going to choose date. I will also choose blended account ID, blended data source name. You can see here in the preview all the columns that we are adding. And I also added another dimension that is blended data source name. Awesome. Now I can create a custom dimension. In this case, since this is a multi-client report, I don't know, imagine you are an agency and you have many accounts, or you are managing the account of a client that has many brands, then you can do a custom dimension like the one I'm gonna do. So I will say if blended account name contains bro, call it brand A. If contains hon, call it brand B. If contains ng, call it brand C. Else, keep it as it is. I click in the arrow, you see the formula here, and in the right you see the table preview. You can see that the formula is working. Here it says hon, and the output is brand B. Here it says bro, and the output is brand A. Here it says port, and this is our GA4 account, so it's Porter GA4 portermetrics.com, and so on. I'm going to name this dimension as client, and I'm going to click on create. Now I'm going to select the date range of this table. You have many date ranges. By default, you will always see last 7 days, but you can choose this year to date, this month to date, last month, etc. In this case, I'm going to choose last 30 days. I'm going to apply a filter just so you can see how it works. I click on the plus button. I select the condition. In this case, it's going to be exclude. I select the field. It's going to be client, and the operator is going to be equals. And I type what I want to exclude. So in this case, will be brand A. So if I refresh my table, now we don't have the brand A in the rows of the table preview. That's perfect. I'm going to apply some sorting to this table. It's going to be over the date in a descending way, so that way the most recent date appears at the top of the table and the latest at the bottom. Now I will select how often I want this table to be refreshed. I can do this in natural language. In this case, I said every day, every Tuesday at 8 a.m. I click in the arrow. And finally, I'm gonna choose the writing mode for this table. I'm gonna pick override. If you want to know more about the writing modes, I suggest you go and check the video in the top right corner. We already explained what each write mode means. In this case, I'm gonna choose override. This essentially what it does is that whenever the table is refreshed, we destroy the previous table and we create a whole new table with the new data. So I'm gonna save the query. The query was saved, and I'm gonna run the query. Perfect. It says that the query executed successfully. This means the query is already in BigQuery. And now we will go to my Google BigQuery account to see if this is true. So we are here in my Google BigQuery account inside marketing data test project. I'm going to click on datasets. You can see all the datasets that I have. Now I have a new dataset that is called multi-client report. I will click on it. And inside multi-client report, I have a table named general KPIs. That is the table we just created. If I click on it, I can see the schema, the details, and if I click on preview, I will see the table. Perfect. Now let's figure out how we can connect this table to Looker Studio so that way we can create our dashboard. So whenever you are inside Porter and you are creating your table, you can see that in the top right, there's a button that says View in Looker Studio. If you click on it, you will be redirected to Looker. You will have to acknowledge the data access, and automatically you will see a Looker Studio report connected to the table. So here in the data panel, you see that the data source is general KPIs. Perfect. You just need to save and share. You acknowledge and save, and later you can go in Looker Studio and use this report whenever you want. The other option is that you can click on Looker Studio, you create a brand new report, you select BigQuery as connector, and here the first thing you have to choose is the project that contains the table you want to connect. In my case, the project is inside marketing data test project. So I will click on that. Now I have to select the dataset that contains the table. In this case, it's multi-client report. And finally, I have to choose the table that I want to connect. In this case, it's general KPIs. I click on add, and now in my data panel, I have my general KPIs table as a data source. Perfect. Now I'm able to create some stuff and a quick report around a multi-client. So since this is a multi-client report, probably what I would like to have, it's a filter or a control. I will add a drop-down list. And this drop-down list right now, the control field is blended account ID. So that way I can click on the drop-down and I can select which account I want to see. I can also add another control, a drop-down list. But this time I'm going to change the control field to client. So that way when I click on it, I just have the two clients that are in the table, Brand B and Porter. Awesome. Now let's insert a chart. I'm going to insert a scorecard. By default, the metric of all the charts inside Looker Studio is always record count. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that to blended ad spend. I'm going to insert another table. This time is going to be a time series chart. And right now we have the record count as a metric, but I'm going to change it to blended ad spend. So that way I have a chart where I can see the evolution of our ad spend over the year. And now I'm going to insert another time series chart. It's going to be right below the other one that we just created. In this case, the metric will be blended ads impressions. And I'm going to add another metric. In this case, it's going to be blended clicks. And now in this chart, you can see that the blue line is the blended ads impressions and the yellow line is the blended clicks. Perfect. Finally, I'm going to add another scorecard. I will put it right below the other one, and the metric will be GA4 sessions. And now we have a little dashboard with some controls, with some scorecards, and some time series charts that we can filter by each client, so that way we can know how we are doing with the ad spend and the impressions and clicks. And this is how you can create an auto client report using Google BigQuery.